synapses, neuromuscular junction. This neuromuscular junction, it is the junction between the nerve and the muscle. If it is between the nerve and the nerve, what you call as synapse. Okay, so this is what is the synapse. See here, this is the one neuron and this is another neuron. Okay, so now here the cell body, axon and dendrites and the axon. The axon terminal of this neuron is synapsing in the cell body of another neuron. So you term this as a presynaptic neuron. This is the place where you are having the synapse. Synapse is the place where both the neurons are joining together. Okay, so you call this as a presynaptic neuron and this is the postsynaptic neuron. And this is the specific description where you will see the synapse, and this is the presynaptic neuron and this is the postsynaptic neuron, and these are the synaptic vesicles which is going to come and fuse with the presynaptic membrane, and this is going to fuse with the presynaptic membrane and it will release the chemicals into the space between this, that is called as synaptic cleft. Okay, and then synaptic cleft, this is the postsynaptic membrane. It is having all these depressions, they are the receptor sites for the chemicals which is released. So whether it may be a chemical substance or a neurotransmitter or whatever it is, it will come and bind with the receptors, and then once when it is binding with the receptor, it will generate the action potential. What kind of channels will be here? Ligand-gated channels, because they are the chemical substances which is going to give rise to the excitation. They are the ligand-gated channels. Ligand-gated channels, it will generate the action potential. Then immediately what happens? There will be entry of sodium in the postsynaptic membrane and the action potential will be generated in the postsynaptic membrane. And then if this membrane, the postsynaptic neuron will undergo its function, whether it may be now signal transmission or the signal has to transfer for doing another function. If it is in case of pituitary gland, it will release the posterior pituitary hormones through the neural transmissions. Like that, the signal will be transmitted. Okay, and this is in case of neuromuscular junction between the nerve and the muscle. Okay, the muscle contraction. The contraction signal to the muscle is obtained from the nerve. So the same action potential mechanism is taking place. So you consider this as the motor end plate. Whether this, whatever may be the signal given to the muscle will undergo contraction process. Okay, clear? And there is a sequence of events which is taking place in the synaptic transmission. Whatever story we have seen so far, that story is the sequence of events in the synaptic transmission. In some MCQs, how they will ask is, they will give all the sequences in a disorganized position and number it. The options for the MCQs is arrangement of the sequence. Which sequence is happening first? Whether the excitation signal is there, opening of sodium channel, when there is closing of sodium channel, after the sodium channel opens, vesicle will come and rupture, or before that, those sequence you should know. That kind of MCQ will be asked. Okay, see here, first this is the presynaptic membrane and this is the postsynaptic neuron. Okay, whatever may be the thing, first thing you have to generate is action potential in the presynaptic membrane. This action potential makes the calcium channel to open in the presynaptic membrane. This is how the transmission will take place in the synapse. action potential in the presynaptic membrane, and that will make the opening of calcium channel in the presynaptic membrane, and this calcium entry makes the vesicles to move towards the membrane of the presynaptic neuron. Okay, and then this vesicles will come and rupture in the dense bars of the presynaptic membrane, and it gives rise to the release by the process called as exocytosis. Okay, so that is the third event. Then the neurotransmitter or the chemical substance, hormone, enzymes, whatever may be, okay, that will go and bind with the receptor site in the postsynaptic neuron. And once when this has reached, the action potential in the postsynaptic neuron will take place. So in the options, you will have action potential in the postsynaptic neuron, action potential in the presynaptic neuron. Which is taking place first? That order you should know. So first, action potential in the presynaptic neuron. What is the second thing happening? Calcium channel open in the presynaptic neuron. Then the calcium is going and acting on the vesicles which is containing the neurotransmitters in the presynaptic neuron. Then the vesicles going and reaching the membrane of the presynaptic neuron. It is undergoing rupture, exocytosis process, releasing of the neurotransmitter into the synaptic cleft. Then from the synaptic cleft, it is going and reaching the receptors of the postsynaptic neuron that give rise to the excitation process and resulting in the action potential in the postsynaptic neuron. Okay, clear? This is the sequence of events in the synaptic transmission. And now, in this case, we are seeing neurotransmitter. Depending upon the type of neurotransmitters, excitatory, inhibitory, okay, that leads to excitatory postsynaptic potential or inhibitory postsynaptic potential. So that is what is called as EPSP if it is excitatory. Okay, some examples is acetylcholine, norepinephrine, aspartate, glutamate. They are the excitatory neurotransmitters which results in excitatory postsynaptic transmission. And the most important difference you have to remember is the same process what we have seen now, that is happening in the excitatory postsynaptic potential. Whereas in case of inhibitory postsynaptic potential, it is through the chloride channel. Okay, and the neuron is not able to produce the action potential, especially the postsynaptic neuron, because it is the inhibitory neurotransmitters. Okay, so these two differences you should remember with the EPSP and IPSP, and this is the same event what we have seen. Okay, clear? No break.